Let's open with, a 1-minute hook that pulls every history lover and survival-minded viewer straight into the world of forgotten fieldcraft. During the World War II, soldiers and scouts fought through cold that didn't care who won the battle. Entire operations hinged not on rifles or tanks, but on whether men stayed warm enough to move, think, and survive. And long before synthetic sleeping bags filled with polyester or even the ultralight designs used today, armies relied on a mat so simple that most modern outdoorsmen would overlook it entirely. Yet this mat provided insulation that no down-filled bag could match when it came to moisture, ground cold, and field durability. It kept countless soldiers from freezing on forest floors, mountain passes, and damp trenches. And more importantly for us, it shows that sometimes the old solutions, not the high-tech ones, hold the secret to real survival. This isn't nostalgia. It's a rediscovery of a working technology that still beats modern gear when the environment turns brutal. So stay with me, because once you understand how this World War II mat worked, you'll never look at your sleeping system the same way again. Now, let's go straight into the practical, historical, and usable knowledge. Why World War II forces trusted natural fibre ground mats instead of relying on down. The mat that earned such respect wasn't a luxury item. It was the simple, tightly rolled woven grass or reed mat, used in variations by Finnish troops, Soviet ski brigades, German mountain units, and even Allied commandos. Down insulation, even when sewn into heavy bags, has a fatal weakness. The moment it becomes wet, it loses its loft and collapses into useless clumps. And World War II battlefields were wet. Snow melted on contact with body heat. Frozen soil condensed moisture into every fibre of fabric. Soldiers lying directly on the ground lost heat through conduction so rapidly that even a thick blanket became worthless. The reed mat solved this by breaking the transfer of cold between the ground and the body, using air trapped inside plant stems as insulation. Grass and reeds do not collapse under pressure the way down does. They retain structure even when damp, meaning they provide insulation where the human body needs it most, under the sleeper. A modern viewer can apply this by focusing on the ground layer before the top layer in any outdoor sleep system. Many campers buy expensive sleeping bags while ignoring the importance of insulation below them. Even a basic hand-woven grass mat, created from dried reeds or tall grasses, can outperform a high-end compact sleeping pad on cold soil. The historical principle is simple: insulate downward, not just upward. Understanding how the mat worked reveals why it succeeded where down failed. The World War II reed mat worked because it created a firm, breathable barrier that lifted the sleeper off the ground. Down sleeping bags, even modern ones, compress beneath the body, eliminating loft and all insulation value. But the bundled stalks of grass or reeds maintain shape under weight. Even when wet, their internal cellular structure traps micro-pockets of air. Air is the true insulator, not the material itself. This is why tundra-dwelling cultures used woven mats for centuries, why frontier scouts carried rush bedding, and why soldiers continued using versions of it long after the war. Anyone wanting to recreate this effect can do it with, some practical steps. First, gather long, straight grasses such as phragmites, cattail leaves or river reeds. Dry them thoroughly in the sun, then lay them in overlapping layers and bind them tightly using cordage, leather strips or jute twine. roll the mat and store it vertically to maintain its shape. Even without advanced weaving skills, simply bundling the grasses into a firm roll about 3 inches thick provides, well, remarkable cold resistance under a sleeping blanket or poncho. World War II soldiers didn't carry bulky bedding. They needed gear that could be strapped to a pack, deployed in seconds, and used on snow, mud, or rough forest ground. The mat became a multi-purpose survival tool. It served as bedding, as a seat, as an insulating layer inside foxholes, and even as a windbreak when propped upright. Many mountain troops layered 2 mats, one under the torso, one under the legs, to prevent conductive heat loss during long, frostbitten nights. For modern off-grid practitioners or bushcrafters, this shows how valuable a simple, durable ground layer can be. You can weave a longer mat and fold it accordion style to fit inside a rucksack, or create a smaller torso-length version for ultralight setups. Even homesteaders can adapt the concept by using straw mats inside winter chicken coops or barns to create insulated resting platforms, proving that these old military ideas still work wonderfully outside human use. The reed mat resisted water naturally. Plant fibres absorb small amounts of moisture, but they don't collapse the way down clusters do. The structure remains intact even when saturated, which means insulation stays functional. This was crucial for soldiers crossing rivers, marching through snow, or bedding down in freezing rain. The mat also dried quickly when exposed to wind or sunlight. Down sleeping bags, on the other hand, could take days to dry, time no one had on the battlefield. These qualities translate directly into modern survival use. If you fall into water during a winter hike, you can build a reed mat in the field far faster than you can completely dry a down sleeping bag. It can also be used as roofing material in shelters, floor insulation in winter huts, or even as padding for pack frames. In an era dominated by high-tech outdoor products, this World War II method stands as a reminder that natural materials, when used correctly, often outperform artificial ones. The reed mat didn't fail under pressure, moisture, or cold. It didn't require specialized factories or synthetic fillers. It relied on knowledge and technique, skills that anyone can learn, preserve, and pass on. And for those who study history not as nostalgia, but as a source of working survival technology, this mat is a perfect example of wisdom worth recovering. If you value forgotten fieldcraft historical survival knowledge and practical techniques that still outperform modern gear, make sure you subscribe to the channel, share this video, and help preserve these timeless skills for the next generation.